Welcome everybody. I have a Metatron read for you right now, and as well the large read you see on the table for the twin flames. And I just want to get right into it to try to get myself back into the groove here. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath first. Another deep breath. And one more deep breath. Sending out lots of love and blessings to you guys. I hope you had a great week. And thank you for being here with me. I so appreciate you. I'm going to roll the die too. So let's go ahead and do that first. I got a lot of downloads from my Metatron read this morning. I actually have some information I wanted to gather from this past week that I did jot down, but that was a lot too. So I still have to work on that to put it together for you. But I'm definitely going to get you the Metatron from this morning, which was very significant. And this is for the twin flames. Today is February 11th, 2022. February 11th, 2022 for the twin flames. And we have Capricorn here. We have the number 8, which is also the Strength card in Leo, and August is also Virgo, so that could be there as well. And then we have Saturn over here, and that's Capricorn as well. So there's a lot of Capricorn energy, perhaps Virgo as well as far as the Earth is concerned, and then Leo energy. And we actually need, the Earth was kind of struggling in the read today. I was getting a lot of water and fire, and then a misbalance of earth, like that needed, the 4 elements needed more of earth to balance them out. So, you know, grounding. Also, Archangel Michael was coming in today. He's been popping up all week this week. And again, today is the 11th, which is very significant today because the number 11 came up in the read, which is the 11 of justice, which is truth and balance, but it's also alignment of the 2 ones next to each other. And the day adds up to 19 today, which is the sun. So we have the sun and justice, exposing justice or any imbalances that need to come up. And so I started this read at 10:48 this morning, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the 48 of the 8 of Cups, walking away and within. And let me show you the picture of this read first. Okay, so this is my Metatron read. The cards to the left are the underlying energies from the bottom of the deck. And then I go across from the top, across 3, down, and then the end. So here, 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 and then down here, these 3 cards, and then these 4, and these vary from read to read. And then these were just extra cards down here that I was guided to pull as well. All right, so the colors that came up in the reading today were blue, pink, lilac, and silver, and gold. So it's getting the combinations of the blue and silver. For me, I always get, for Archangel Michael, the blue platinum shield, but the silver is that same kind of energy. So that was coming up around Archangel Michael. The pink gold comes up as that very compassionate energy of the Christ consciousness of being called for. And then the lilac of higher realms and magic as well. So let's see what else was coming up here. Yeah, so I spent the week with some friends and my brother, people I haven't seen in a long time. It was a very nice week. Got some sunshine as well. And I'll tell you more about that later as it comes up. Perhaps some things will come up in the read. But at 10:59 I did this, 10:48. And sorry, the elements. Water came up in the element. That was the only element that came up in the read. So again, water, water, water. It's important to balance your body so that you feel good and you're not dehydrated, but also it's a conductor to you being able to connect to the other side. So water, don't forget your water. And at 10:59, I continue here, which is the 59 of the 11th hour. It's the minute before the stroke of 12. And it's also the 10 of the high vibration, the destiny card of the wheel, and the 59 of the 5 of swords, which can be the war within, which then reflects the war without. And the way it started is with the sunset endings. And the word set is also significant here. So remember I said that. With sunset endings, you are held. And I was out west. I was actually in Arizona, which is out west. So which you are able to see the sunset in a more significant way than you are here where I am outside Philadelphia. And so the sunset endings, you are held. And again, bringing up compassion for self and water for emotional well-being, and the dolphin and whale sounds. Because remember, the dolphins are connected to Lemuria and Mu, and the whales, the dolphin and whales are grounding mechanisms for us. They actually stabilize us on this earth. There's a purpose for them. And they are very high vibrational. And then the 20 faces of triangles of the Icosahedron. And remember, triangles is to try different angles or new perspectives. And then in the 20 faces of triangles, it's the water card, the dolphin curve was coming up. So remember that there are no straight lines. It's always a curved line between 2 points. We just don't see the curves because we're seeing the line very close up. So it looks straight to us. So the Icosa has to do with the 20 hedron, and crystal water coming up here as well. But when I broke down Icosa, which means 20, it also means Icosa, which literally translates as I matter. I am a living thing. I am sewing or weaving together. And Hedra also means face of geometrical solid, or the face can be referred to as a plane as well. In geometry, the measure of earth, also the geo, the inlet, cliff, or set square. The geo also comes up as something perhaps strange already before, and it's also the Spanish police force on terrorism. So the icosahedron translates here as I matter, a living thing that sews together the faces of strange and square metrics, measurements that don't sit well, like blocks and asymmetry, to make them whole again and balanced, conjunctions, trines, and sextiles, making those combinations that would normally not sit well together be complementary to each other. And then again, the dolphin was coming up here, and I was breaking it down, and dolphin comes up as do, L, phi, the PHI of phi, expanding and contracting, and of course the golden mean, do, L, phian. And so what is L? Besides things you may resonate with automatically, like Elohim, and L is for love, but the L, or pronounced EL, dolphin is do, L, phian, and phian is expanding and contracting, right? So the way this comes up with L, which is a cardinal number after dek, D-E-K, and before do, in a duodecimal system of 6 lines across, which equals L, with a value of 11, which is 2 lines down, and today's date. So this is the word L, E-L, means the number 11, and it also means 6 horizontal lines on top of each other, and also is the number between dek and do. And so what is do? It's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So before do, but after dek, which is then referencing as source energy, right? Because that's the last note before do again. There's actually space between, which is coming up as the L. Do 11, and remember, and see L 11 breaks up into L even, right? That the spacing is even of expanding and contracting or reflecting or delphian with Philly. since I'm in Philadelphia, and of course there's Philadelphia in Egypt as well. And they both have PHI in them, which is the phi of expanding and contracting. We have the Delphian with Philly, and the delphin is a fatty substance in the oil of a dolphin or porpoise. So, and Philadelphia also has phi in it, Phila, and La is the sixth note in Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. So again, here we go with L came before do, and this had to do with the definition of where was it? Oh, L, the definition of L, which is considered a cardinal number that's after dec but before do or do. So L came before do or do, which is the dolphin essence and purpose. So the Phian came before that, expanding and contracting like Jesus, reflecting in the center. The La, or LA, is feminine, lad, kid, or music, and the sixth note, it's fish, black snake, her, I, drawer, Saturday, wool, art, you, month, in, to leave, to go, in the now moment. It also means rain, which is also, in another language, ular, U-L-A-R, or excuse me, with an N, U-L-A-N. It also means allow, to load or charge up, belong to, a language of, or towards the sun, the name, the work, to eat, consume, or eradicate, to cry, shout, reprimand, scold, and a horse-donkey hybrid, or in other words, a mule, to dream, to lick, to become worn out, to be wealthy, become rich, to dilute a liquid, to shine, to glow and radiate, to survive, to separate, divide, cut, or slice here, all have to do with the word La or La. And La means six. What else came up as six? So La is the number 6, which has to do with love, of course, but 6 is a significant symbol today as well. So Phi, of course, is expanding and contracting or staying to the center and reflecting, which is La. And now I charge, the sixth note, the sun, the mule, to glow, dream, to eat, go, and survive, the dolphin essence of expanding and contracting, reflecting human embodiment of source with connection, or reaching out, Philadelphia, the horse mutt and the dolphin mutt hybrid that you are, the city of brotherly and sisterly love. And by the way, when I looked that up before, it is brotherly and sisterly love, which is interesting too, because love is more the feminine energy than it is the masculine energy, which is more about wisdom. So Philadelphia is the horse mutt and the dolphin mutt hybrid coming together that you are in the city of brotherly and sisterly love, of love and wisdom. So then wisdom was coming up, which was coming up as the wise dum-dum. Dom, D-O-M, means judgment, sentence, or law, or domain, gecko, mountain, and thoughtlessness. Also the house and cathedral, but being brainless, silly, or a dome, a nobleman or needle. And the number 6 again comes up here. The wisdom of the wise and dumb at the same time. This is wisdom. Of the 6, which is just above the 5, just airing to the side of the light. The dolphin was coming up as the do, the sun as the re, the human as the me, and the fa as to live and die. The so, which is to weave, and then the la is the 6 of love, and the ti for me is source. So it's coming up as the Lemurian dolphin, the Atlantic, or the Atlantean horse. So the Lemurian dolphin, the Atlantean horse, the human mutt, to live and die, and the dual eye of the needle. Remember that the black hole isn't a black hole. It's a dual needle of the twin flame going both ways at the same time. To weave love and source together. And right at that moment when I finished this idea, it was 11:55, which again is the 11, the alignment of justice, and 55, which is the truth of the Ace of Swords. And right at the moment, the Dolphin Sounds video I had on ended right at that second. the truth of La, the sixth note of love, and the capital L, which is showing you the right angle, that L is even. The capital L and A, La, equals 11, alignment. The evenness in human connection, the balancing act, staying toward the middle, erring towards the side of the lightness, the ease and grace. And then ease was coming up as the letter E. There are multiples of them. Ease. The ease of the sun and the grace of the earth. The E of the sun, remember I showed you E separated with the 1 and the 3 lines across. And the 3 lines across means equal or to, or congruent to, or congruent to. So it's actually 1 that is equal and congruent to, that's the letter E, can overlap, and yet they stand side by side, sovereign within themselves, even though they are alike and could stand as one. So 2 E's, or in other words, energetic exchange, is 1 and 3 lines down, that's an E, which means 1 is equal and congruent, plus another E, another 1 plus equal or congruent equals 11 plus 6 lines across, which we already established means L. Both 11 and the 6 lines down equals L. Align before do, or before do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, before you start the new cycle. Phi was coming up here, and for some reason El Dorado is coming up too, because of El and do, re, mi, fa, sol. So El Dorado is coming up as Eldo, which means woman, and Rado means happily fast discover. Radon comes up there too, as well as I touch, rub, graze, smooth, scrape, shave, and scratch. It's also sparse, thin, rare, and the wheel. So the Wheel of Fortune's coming up there. So El Dorado is coming up as the woman discovering or destined, right? It's that open-ended energy of the wheel moving forward as the woman. And then we come back to the Phi again, the PHI, which is, remember that's the golden ratio, which is that swirl in a seashell, right? It's like a circle, except that the circle never stays a circle in energy because there's always movement. So it's like a coil, right? It keeps looping. So from the end of a coil, it just looks like a circle, but it's not. It's actually a coil that keeps looping around. And that's the idea of the golden mean, only it's infinite in the way you look into the vortex. If you look into the vortex of the golden mean, it goes on and on forever, no matter how far you go down into the vortex. It's still the same pattern. So the Phi comes up as a quarter of a circle within a square. So don't mind my scribbles here, but I just want to show you this, right? So this is the golden mean, the Phi energy. So you notice each square has a line that goes like from point to point opposite each other, which leaves this open over here. And you see how big the circle would be. It would take 4 squares actually to complete this circle, right? So this is a circle within a square, but then it's cut down and it keeps being made smaller and smaller, right? And it actually could be a full circle, but it's showing you perhaps circles that are getting farther and farther away from you. So it just depends on your perspective on how you look at that. So when you draw the full square that this starts out with, then, right, it's 1/4 of like a ball within a box. Okay, it's that same energy. So the Phi is a quarter of a circle within a square, taken apart, right, because the quarters are taken apart to be put back together in a different way, in a descending size perhaps, or just this is perspective of getting farther and farther away from you, and it's actually not changing at all. A circle loop that is broken down so that you can see how energy moves beyond itself, not just the circle, since the curved line constantly waves, never staying a circle and never nearing the end at the same time. So then do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do came up. And do, ra is Dora, or it means to coat something in gold or gild, to brighten something up. And it also means the bumblebee and word, very significant, Dora, which is do-re. And then mi fa is number 6. And then so la is lots of different meanings, but most significant was coming up as to promise, the only one or the only woman. And then ti is the last note. So we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, and then ti stood alone because it's source energy. It's also a good luck plant, and the number 7, which is of another world. It's also taro, and the number 10 and the number 3 as well, which is that high vibration of destiny. And the 3, of course, we know is the Trinity, and very significant in things on earth. So it comes out to mean, and this is all of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, to coat in gold with number 6, or love, and to promise to the only woman or the only one, 7th heaven or source. That's literally what the definition comes out as do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So this the sequence was coming up as T is the last note, right, and do is the first note of the scale, and L we already established, or 11, right, because L is 11. It's also the 6 lines across on top of each other. That is the space between, the alignment, the L, of seeing things at the right angle. The L is after deck, remember, and deck can be related to as the tarot deck, right? The end of the deck is 78, and those numbers 78 came up in the underlying energies as the cards here. So L is after deck, but it's before do and do, re, mi, and T is literally the day before yesterday. So then L, and 11, and the 6 stacked horizontal lines equals the space between the end and the beginning. The Elohim, the right angle, and the alignment with the number 6, the lines or curves between the points in 6 parts of the circle, or in other words, the flower of life. And the flower of life goes to a whole nother thing, because remember, we're used to seeing things in a drawing and 3D, but it gets really hard for our brains to wrap ourselves around anything that's more than 3D, because we can't see the back of it or just take it all in at the same time. So when you draw the flower of life with 6 petals, it's not really accurate in even a 3-dimensional world, because most things aren't just flat like that. They have more dimensions or more petals that go in different directions. So really it comes up as a 4-petaled object with 1 petal that comes right at you, so you can't see it, and then 1 petal that's behind the flower going outward the other direction, so you don't see that. And then when you draw that picture, so this is the flower of life, the 6-petaled flower, and then when you draw it in equal spaces with 2 of them, 1 coming right at you and 1 behind, it kind of looks like a bug when you draw it to try to see all 6 petals. Anyway, we can go into a lot of speculation about how many petals should be what, but it kind of looks like an insect or a butterfly. And instead of 6 full petals, it looks like 4 full petals and 2 half petals instead of 1 and 1, and can be seen as 5, because a lot of times you'll see, like in the shutter of the eye, you'll see 5 curved lines in a circle as opposed to 6, which is also relating to the pentagon shape, which comes up in the dodecahedron. So then the number 6 comes up, and the G, because 6 and G are really the same. They're just drawn a little bit differently, but they really are both the golden mean with the shokore, right? So the golden mean is this, which is the number 6 and the letter G. Okay, there's the number 6, which is really just this, which is the golden mean, which references Phi, but also the G for God. And the circle, again, pulled apart as a coil instead of just a circle. Okay. So reflecting dolphin water, back to the cards, and Mu, which is Lemuria, of number 7, and leadership answering the call of the 8, which is the dance between the masculine and the feminine. But remember, when you take the 8 apart, it's the X in the middle, with two C's that are shaped like the whispering bench, right? So kind of a long C that hooks around tightly. And that's the number 8. It's the X in the middle with two whispering benches on either end. The whispering bench and the crazy 8s dance, because the X in the middle is really two skinny 8s dancing side by side and kind of crossing over each other in the middle, which then becomes the flower. The hourglass between, or space between two fields. Because remember, so here's the 8 with the X and the C's on top and bottom, the C and the whispering benches, but this is the toroidal field, like the apple, with the two apple cheeks in the core in the middle, and it gets stopped up in the bottom to kind of create more of the momentum going this way instead, right? So when you see toroidal field out in space, it's equally powerful coming out the top and the bottom. But when you're on Earth and dealing with gravity, like the apple bottom is sealed off, whereas there's a stem at the top. So it's not equal push and pull, right? There's direction put into this in order to steer it in a certain direction. So the hourglass, which is always between the two circles, that's that energy of the 0 point energy, and the explosion and implosion all at the same time, expands and looks like the mushroom, which breaks down into mu, sh, room, or in other words, Lemurian library. From dark to light, up the stairs, which also stairs comes up as I stars, with flame in right hand or at the right angle, and the ring and keys in the left. And remember, if you draw letters and numbers as curves and not straight lines, because they actually are curves, they become other symbols that you may recognize. And then here was the end here with 45, and then the number 78, which is the end of the tarot, 78 cards in the deck. And remember the deck, the L is after the deck, but before the do, re, mi, and the L equals the capital L and the 11 and the 6 lines on top of each other. Is after deck and before do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So again, the space between the end and the beginning. After the end of the deck, 78, and before the do, re, mi. To gild the number 6, or make it gold, and promise the only one, 7th heaven on earth, the crazy 8s dance with the 9, reflecting the 6, as above, so below, right? So we go from the 7 and the 8 to the 8 to the 9. The gilding of the 6 in love and the promising of the only one, the 7th heaven, which is going to the other side, bringing heaven onto earth instead of leaving earth to get to heaven. And then the crazy 8 dance between the masculine and feminine with the 9, which the number 9 reflects the number 6 of love, as above, so below. And then I went to draw the numbers and the letters to see how all the curved lines create different letters, but I'm not going to go into all that. I'll give you a flash of that if you want, but it's too complicated to get anything very clear and concise out of that right now. But some of the examples are like the letter A. If you make it curved, it looks like the Eiffel Tower with the line across, which is actually kind of representing the bottom of the apple where it's sealed off, as opposed to the top where you have a stem at the top. So the line across the A is showing you it's closed off, as opposed to the V, which is the top of the apple, where it's expansive and perhaps infinite, right? It can expand infinitely up. And again, there's a lot of phi energy. And remember, everything's around the toroidal field, right? Here's the toroidal field of the apple. And there's the flame on top, right? This is like a flame holder. And you still have the toroidal field here. This is the entry point, the 0 point field, which is where the energy comes from. But the flame, whatever comes up here, is the result of that 0 point. So be careful of thinking something 0 point when it's actually the result of 0 point. There's a difference. So you see that, and you also see that the same thing with the toroidal field. And remember, the toroidal field, like an apple, looks like a donut on top with a hole in the middle where the core is. Okay, so it looks like a donut or a bagel from the top, but from the side it looks like this, right? If you take the apple away so you can see the core. So in the same breath, we have the fleur-de-lis. It's the same thing. It's just representative. Okay, you see how it's the same thing as the toroidal field. And I'll show you that on the same page so you can see them. So these were just some of the letters I was drawing in curved ways to see what was coming up with them. And of course, the 6 looks like the golden mean curve, as well as the 9. It's just reflecting each other, but the 9 in that curve looks like an ear. And when we curve the E, when you curve the E and put it back to back in the energetic exchange, you literally get, again, the 0 point of the toroidal field, which is this. But it's not really a straight line across because it's a curved line, so it's 2 curved lines, like an X, showing it can go in both directions. But the E is great here because the E and the 3 back to back, which twins are often advised to sit back to back before communicating with each other because it melds their energies together before speaking. To do that for about 5 minutes. So the circle splits in that golden mean in quarters gradually. With the A represents the blocking of the bottom, and I often talk about the A as the teepee, very well grounded, right? It's with the sticks in the ground, but it also looks like the rocket about to take off. Both extreme opposites, but equal at the same time, right? The gravity grounding us to the earth, but we're being expansive and unlimited, going upward. So we block the energy through gravity in order to direct all the energy upward. Okay. So then I was getting this reference to the body and the toroidal field in the body, which is interesting because I got a download again today, which kind of goes against what other people might say about it, but I'm going to give it to you anyway because I keep getting it. So anyway, these are just some of the drawings down here that I was getting. You know, I was putting 2 curved squares together, which brings 8 petals out. And then again, this is the top of the donut, whereas this is the side of the apple, right? So the 2 different perspectives. You see the core, and then that's the butt of the apple. But I was getting the energy of the thoracic with the T and the lumbar spine and how this works with the body and the arch. And what they were showing me is that the butt of the apple is like the belly button, not the root. And I'll show you how this worked out when I drew it. And again, remember the mushroom is the same as the tree. And again, the center of the toroidal field. You see how everything repeats itself in nature, okay? Oh, and the note, when you talk about the nose, the O2 was coming up here because 2 is also like a Z, and the Z is the rolling stone of the end if you tip it over. And then Oz was coming up with O2, which can be oxygen coming up here as well, coming all from the number 20, which is 20, and then Oz is like 02. But then if you roll the Z over to the end, it's on and no as well. And then I talked about the nose, which can be also seen as the word no, but multiple noses, right? Nose, N-O, and then S as plural for no, is the same pronunciation as the nose. So remember, there's always another perspective for everything. So then I was getting this energy about the body and where the toroidal field is. And they keep showing me the 0 point is at the solar plexus, not the heart, because the heart is the result of the expansion up, whereas the 0 point field is our connection as a human being, right? Because we're not, the only reason we have egos because we are human in the first place. So it makes sense that we have a cord to our center at the solar plexus from the central sun that allows that energy in to be created up through the heart and then down into the womb, okay? So the initial picture drawing I was just getting is really rough, okay? But this is the body, like where this is the belly button, and this is the back of the spine. So I'm actually drawing the side view, where the energy from the toroidal field 0 point goes up to the heart and less so down to the womb, which there's also obviously energy that goes directly into the womb. Whoop. Sorry about that. I had to plug in. And then I was getting the energy of the back, right? So I had this drawing as well. I was getting literally watch your back because your back is vulnerable because the entry point in the middle of your spine where your waist is, that is a very significant point of connection. Not actually out the front, but out the back, which is why people are supposed to sit back to back with each other. So very important, not the zero, the heart not being the 0 point, but the result of the 0 point. That the heart gets energized by the connection of the 0 point. And you can take it or leave it. This is just the downloads that are coming to me. It's come to me more than one time. So then we're getting perspective again. If you look at a pyramid and 3 different perspectives, this is from the top down, seeing a pyramid. These 2 are from the side. And then if you look at it from above in an oblique way, it is the shape of a diamond, right? But you're actually looking at it like you're up in the sky, but not above it, off to the side a bit. Okay, so you see the one line across is the back of the pyramid. It's hard to focus in on it. And then this, again, the sine wave was coming up as was the water period, or the down cycle that we were in, and now we're going into the age of Aquarius, right, in the upswing, right, going from the water into the air, which Aquarius is right between them, right, because water and air together. And remember the word diamond is diamond, which also means almond. So it's 2 almond shapes, or 2 petals, 2 eyes. And then the card of the aqua gold rose heart came up. The aqua is coming up as the water, the Aquarius ether. The Dora is coming up as the gilded gold, and then the rose as the phi, because it's literally, the rose is the vortex from seeing it from the top. Looks like a rose. The aqua gold rose heart of Aquarius, bringing in ether into the water, right? So plasma ether as opposed to our water. And then the gold of the collective, the Christ consciousness, the unity consciousness, and the rose of the phi within the heart. The liquid air of golden unity consciousness, expanding and contracting within the heart. Remember, Pisces is water, and now we're in Aquarius with water and air, or referencing the plasma ethers, bringing ether into our elements. The quantum twin flame energy field of push and pull. The double-eyed needle is the black hole. It's not actually an empty space. It's the push and pull of the twin energy with 2 eyes of the needle, of the energy going in both directions at the same time. And then I was getting the energy of the veil thinning, right, from Pisces into Aquarius, backing up into air. Because remember, we're going from Pisces backward back into Aquarius now, right, instead of going forward into Aries. It's backing up from water into air, or back up to the ethers. The phi energy of the golden mean, it's the vortex energy. When you look from the top down, it is the rose. And from the side, it looks like the vortex, or the cyclone between the circles of the torus or the toroidal field. And the oblique comes out when you look at the vortex as a butterfly. It just depends on your perspective, where you're seeing things from. Birthing here with the mother holds the present moment. The more you close off your lower 3 chakras, like the bottom of the apple, the more the heart expands up. The void and Om then come up in the 0 point field to go within and pause and say that Om, the A-U-M, and then pause for space. And it was referencing to a very similar picture to the 30 of the picture of the Om, the symbol, right? Because we have the heart into the womb and the 0 point between at the solar plexus. And then the Om symbol looks like 30, right? Which is very similar to this. The heart but it's referencing the heart to the mouth above the heart, which is Om, speaking it from the heart, the grounding mechanism. Reflecting weeping willows and mushrooms, which is Mu, which is Lemuria, and then rooms or libraries. The mushrooms or cubicles, the cube ice crystals, and the ball in the box, the earth in the field, the circle being 4 times the size of the square, and the square and cube, 1/4 of the earth, the 4 corners of the earth, each section of the 4 corners of the earth grounding at the center of the earth, between the poles and the equator, which polarized and then equalized. Where there are energy collections here, which is probably the best or most auspicious place for humans to live in, which is coming up as right in the center between the poles and the equator, but not on the poles or the equator, as most of you well know. And also remember that the graph of the L is also the picture of the shell. Okay? So the shell, so here's the picture of the square with the circle in it. So we're still talking about the golden being. But this part, when you put the circle in the square, is empty, right? That's that golden place to be. It's that extra energy point, right? So you have the poles and then the equator type of energy in this representation, and showing you that this in between there is the place to be. The shell where energy collects, the midpoint between the poles and the equator, but I was also getting between the nodes and the nulls. And then I drew the ball in the box, right? Because it's not 2D, it's 3D, right? Because this is like the quarter of a square, because this big square would fit this whole circle in it. But here is actually the cube, or the ball in the box. And you see how there's 8 places where there's extra room here, which is an energy center here, because here's the center of the earth. It's the same kind of energy. Each quadrant, is a part of the earth. And then, we have the poles here, and then the equator, which is actually curved, it's not straight. But just as a representation, there are these energy spaces that have extra energy there that lies just above the earth. And someone had said that recently too. I can't remember if it might have been Cryon, I can't remember. But that it's healthier for human to stay in a place that's cooler. The closer to the equator you get, the more, the less life extension you would have, because of course heat destroys and the cold preserves. So reflecting on crystal cubes, I was also getting this drawing of, it's a very rough drawing of, the front of a human. Here's the neck and the shoulders coming out, the arms, and then here's that heart energy of that 0 point exploding into the heart or chest area, and then the smaller part, like the bottom of the apple, going down into the womb, which is this shell over here, then going into a smaller one into where you poop, right? So this kind of little energy flow that I was getting. And you see too how the fleur-de-lis comes right out in that, right? You see the fleur-de-lis here, and then here's that flame energy in the middle. So reflecting crystal cubes with bulbs and shells as well, and self-love and new love, we go from the 144 number to the 1-8, because the 44 is the lap dance of the 3D, and the 8 is the 5D dance, going from 144 to 18. The new moon, right? It's no longer the same as the old moon, going from 3D to 5D. The 144 was 72 by 2, going to the 18, which is 9 by 2, or the collective consciousness times 2 of the masculine and the feminine. And then the cards that came up were 48 and 41, and literally the number 4 comes up as the right angle over the number 1. You see how number 4 is actually a 1 with the L over it, which is the right angle type of energy. So 4-8 is the right angle of 18, and then 41 is the right angle of 11, which is the alignment. So one aligns, and then the other dances like the 8, the other dances until it is aligned as 1. The Page of Wands is then inspired to compassion as the lovers reflect in self-love and then connect in cubits and shells, crystals, clams, oysters, and right angles. The King of Cups is called to detach from drama and look up at the Queen of Cups' light body, the result of the 0 point field, not the 0 point field. It's all charged up and down like veins and valves, both in and out. The arteries go out fast, but slower to get back to the heart. But etherically, it reflects a pattern to balance that out. The divine feminine receives the sunlight to expand, like in my example of the safety pin. She is the point of the pin that falls out and collects the sun, goes down into her circle, into the masculine circle, which goes up the back of the pin, and then the housing at the top, of course. The divine feminine receives that sunlight to expand and then purges in sadness. So when you receive too much light, you cry. Whereas just like if you eat too much, you poop, right? So the divine masculine eats a lot and purges and poop, whereas this feminine energy, remember we have both in both of us, the feminine receives light and then cries or purges the light out. So have compassion for each. It's saying that he doesn't like her, you know, when she's crying or being a bum or a downer, which I've heard someone say that before, literally to their twin. But she don't like that he poops either, right? Because then he stinks up the place, right? So have compassion for each other's strengths and weaknesses as complements to your own. The King of Cups reversed, when he's sad, is sending a bridge of ancestors into the center of the earth here in the cards today, in energetic exchange of compassion. And it was very interesting because then someone came to my door with a package that didn't belong to her, and she was trying to figure out who it belonged to, but it wasn't mine either. So pooping out what doesn't serve them and feeding it to the earth to transmute and then alchemize it, because then it nourishes the land, just like fertilizer. The roots of the tree are locked together. And remember, roots communicate to each other, right? So like if the elephants in Africa start eating the leaves off the tree, then the tree tells the other trees to put poison out into the leaves so the elephants won't eat their leaves. So there's always communication there. The roots communicate to each other. Then the treetop, from treetop to treetop, and then collapsing to the center trunk in the middle. The Knight of Swords messenger is out sending messages to all, but sometimes the messages are delivered to the wrong address. So again, if it doesn't belong to you, just don't accept it. And then at 308, which is the Empress and the 8 of the dance, the center compresses to feed up and down. So we're still talking about the center of the tree, the center of the body, the center point of anything really. The center compresses, just like in a vein, you know, the valve pushes the blood up to the heart. The center point compresses to feed up and down, and then the Holy Grail comes up as the whole of the Y in the road, because the Y, just like in the Mercedes symbol, is the 0 point. It's the top of the pyramid where all roads lead home. The Grail is G Rail. It's God's rail. The whole Y Grail, the Holy Grail. The whole of the Y in the road, or 0 point, which is God's rail, or God's transportation. The delivery system, like the vacuum, like my safety pin, right? When it's all filled up, the safety pin gets vacuumed closed, and then the masculine uses up the energy, and the pin falls open again because the vacuum is broken. So then the feminine has to go out and fill up with the sun again, or to meditate. But this, just like the delivery system of the vacuum tubes. And then my friend Nat came in, unforgettable, at 311, which is the Empress of Abundance, and the 11 of alignment and justice, truth, and balance. So closing off of the one end, like the apple on the bottom, to direct the other end to energize to infinitum. From fall to winter, us letting go of control, the number 4, which remember is the L of the right angle of the 1, which also is 90 degrees, plus the 8 dance, which is then the 98 degrees of the human, and a love for life. The Knight of Wands inspired to action, to express, and the Page of Swords with a verbal message to bring out about higher realms and magic. The Rocket's trail, the stream behind it, and a steepled portal or doorway, and the path leading up to it. They're both the same thing, with all arrows pointing north and illuminated by the purple moon, which is that 18, from dark to light and dancing in the moonlight, the castle in a cloud with passion and romance, the wisdom of AKA Shh, or in other words, Akash, studying in the library, the sword and the stone, Arthur and Avalon, and how to find a needle in a haystack, or how to find a drop of water in an ocean, to come into union with Michael's help, the warrior of light, a wake-up call to alignment of the 11, the L-E-L, the capital L of the right angle, and the 6 lines across, stacked on top of each other, equals the E plus E, or the 1 and 3 lines across, plus 1 and 3 lines across, which means 1 is equal and congruent to, plus 1 is equal and congruent to, energetic exchange, the EE, and if you turn them backwards, the E's back to back, it literally becomes then, and this is what we were just talking about, it becomes the toroidal field at 0 point, where the explosion goes up and the implosion goes down. To listen and take note and tone, it's your instrument of choice. Voice, shell, music, breath. 11, or L, that's even. The right angle, even, fair, and balanced. Beacon shine on, grounding, integrating, and mastering of love as the waves beat up against your walls of strength to infinitum, never growing weary enough to give up, and yet surrendering to it all at the same time. The GG of the Golden Gate, and remember the G is like the number 6 with the shoka rays of the 2 pillars, the 2 wings, and when you put them back to back, right, again we have the 0 point field right here. If you put the G, the G and the, or the 6, whichever one you see it as, back to back. The 2 pillars, the 2 wings, the 2 flames, and a point, and 2 connecting curves. The Christ consciousness, the dimensional gateway. And remember, dimension is diamonds, which sounds like diamonds, but it's D-I-M-E-N-S. Dimension is diamonds, connection. And remember, diamonds is 2 almonds, or 2 eyes, 2 petals, like the propeller on a plane. The Christ consciousness dimensional gateway, 2 almonds, eyes, 2 petals, a gate, and away we go to the cosmos mirroring you with 12 pentagon faces in a dodeca face or plane. Do-dec, a face or plane. Remember, L is after deck, so do or do go through the deck to the end, number 78, with a face or dimension or diamond connection, 2 almonds, 2 eyes, 2 petals of direction, like the propeller and evolution. And remember the 20, which is the 20 faces of the icosahedron, whereas the 12 sides is the pentagon of the dodecahedron. The 20 is coming up here with the 2, which is the high priestess, the divine feminine, with 0 source energy backing it up. The 20 is also O2 and Oz, and no and on as well, as you deal with the crazy Z becoming an N and the Christ consciousness. Or the Page of Cups here, innocent coming up at the end, birthing the new for you. The underlying energy being compassion, water, and hearing the call to dance. The first column of the heart, of the aqua gold rose heart, of mothering and compassion, reflecting sadness from the masculine and the feminine and connecting to the earth. The second column of the mother holding you, being present and being present with gifts. Ice is your boo-boos to pull up your energy, to balance between the galactic and Gaia mothering in the family tree, because you are both. You are in the middle as a human, packed in a trunk of the tree. The third column is the void, the shell, the bulb, the sun, and the Holy Grail. The light bulb, which is the third eye, the life bulb, which is the womb, the sun, and the Holy Grail womb that activates the heart. All right, so that was the end of that read. So now I'm going to go into, I know it's a little bit confusing, but there's codes you're getting, and it'll help you figure things out later. So even if you don't get it all, don't try to figure it out. Just allow it to seep in, because it's going to help you figure other things out when you get other messages. All right, so now we go into the read in front of you, which is the twin flame read. And I got home around dinner time yesterday, and shortly after I got home, a helicopter was really close to my house. I'm like, what the heck? It's just kind of interesting that it came right up as soon as I got home. And then I cut and dealt this read at 9:09 last night. So here again we have the 9 and 9 of 18, and this was for today, the 11th. And then at 9:20, the Tower came up, as well as rations and the little tail, which is just kind of the tail of the R, which is really curved. So it's just really just showing you the curve of a line that is not actually straight. So the Tower and sudden events coming up here. The Tower is sudden events, epiphanies, sex, any kind of, blowing your top, your crown, your cover, your mind, and then the rationing of this, or that has to do with moderation. And then I finished clarifying at 9:33, which is the Hermit and the 33 of the Christ vibration, the collective consciousness, standing up for yourself, which is the 7 of Wands, and the Hermit, which is also the collective consciousness. So we have the solar deity, which is the sun, and then the Luna, which is the moon, so day and night, and then the Tower of sudden events. And after the read, the Chariot and the Wheel came up. So we had 2 Pentacles, 3 Cups, 1 Wand, 2 Swords. And the court cards were the Knight of Wands, the King of Cups, the Queen of Swords. And before the read, the Page of Pentacles came up, along with the 9 of Wands, which is the Wounded Warrior, and the 9 of Swords, the one suffering in silence. And the numbers, we had triple 2s again today, along with double 3s and double 9s. And let's see here. Yeah, so the triple 2s was most significant, which is very much about the feminine energy, the 1-to-1 of the 2, and then the 22, which is the Fool's energy of being open-hearted and taking a leap of faith, the 22 of the Fool and being structured in a certain way, and then the 222, which is taking that to up another octave, right, to more of the angelic realms of the 6 of the lovers of love, family, and community of the divine feminine 1-to-1 connection. The 33 of the Christ vibration again, and then 99 of the compassion of the collective, of endings, completions, and service to others. And then we also had the 56 of the 2 of Swords, and the 8 as being very significant as well, the dance of the masculine and feminine. And then the 23 of the King of Wands, the 12 of the Hangman, 35 of the 8 of Wands, 67 of the Knight of Pentacles, 78 of the 10 of Pentacles, again the end of the deck, and then 89, which is the reflection of 98, the human body temperature, and the 89 being Phi, of expanding and contracting. The code line was all about moderation, was broken up into mode and rations, and the number was 9, coming from 5, 2, and 2. And the messages came up as this. The capital N for me is the Christ conscious, representative of Christ and Christ consciousness, seeing the sudden event or an epiphany, but it was also coming up as poetry and to imagine. Expanding the Hierophant, which is also commitment and guidance, so that the 2 of Cups or partners could be 2 for tea, or to take an exam. Where else did it come up here? So also, that Christ energy was also coming up as like a lean-to, which always makes me think of, I used to do, at Thanksgiving morning, I used to go around downtown and give out turkey, because I wasn't eating turkey. I would make it for the homeless people, though. And one time I passed this guy at the post office down there, and he was camped out behind the post office with his dog in a lean-to. So I always remembered the lean-to. And he didn't want the food. He wanted it for his dog, which of course we gave it to him. But it's just bringing up the lean-to for some reason. Maybe I was supposed to say that for some reason to somebody. So the Christ energy or the Christ consciousness, the lean-to, right? So being exposed on one side but having protection on the other. To see the sea or the ocean, to imagine and expand so that the 2 of Hearts can become the moral man, or 2 to the left may understand better or be able to see or perceive better. So it's definitely the masculine coming more into his feminine energy to be able to understand or use their imagination more. The Christ energy was coming up also as to cease or ceaseth. So it can be ceaseth or cease, like ceases to the nth degree. To imagine freedom. So the Two of Cups twins can understand or trend or mood, rationale or given out just a little bit at a time, right? So it's not overwhelming. Like a lot of my information can be overwhelming, but don't expect yourself to take it all in. Allow yourself to absorb it a little bit at a time, because even if you don't understand it, it's still going to help you understand further messages as you get them, which is the way I learn. They guide me to certain websites, which teaches me something this week. And then next week I get guided to some other websites, and now I get it because of what they taught me last week. So it's just a collective learning, but you're being taught by doing things you love to do, because Spirit knows what you love and what you resonate with. So they guide you in a way that you're going to resonate with, as long as you are able to see what they're doing and just follow along, go with the flow. So again, the energy of trending or moods, like make sure to ration them out. Like don't be too moody in one direction or another. All moods or information or trends to be given out a little bit at a time, which came out too when I was with my brother this week, because he doesn't get all this stuff and it overwhelms him, and then he gets irritated with me if I talk about it, right? But if you just dole it out a little bit of time, then maybe they'll start to understand it over time, but you have to be patient with that kind of stuff. So the Christ seeing with their eyes, the sea, as in the ocean, or sees sudden events as epiphanies in poetry, freeing and expansive, so that the Two of Cups partners or soulmates can learn a little bit at a time and yet not be overwhelmed at the same time. The Christ consciousness, the collective consciousness, the CC of carbon copy, the blood, the breast, the water, the exam, the poetry imagines freedom and change, where two twins can understand and perceive what they can handle or take in only as much as can understand at one time, in moderation, or in other words, no overwhelm. So remember, this applies to you as well as others, because I'm sure when you speak about stuff, you may overwhelm others who don't understand what you know. So we have this read, starts out with the Six of Pentacles reversed, and beneath that is the Nine of Wands reversed, the Page of Pentacles reversed, the Seven of Wands upright, the Nine of Swords upright, and the Three of Pentacles upright, and then the Six of Pentacles reversed on top, which is this card right here on top, the big one, and then the mini cards on top there. And I just went 5 cards down in the big deck. So surrendering to lack of interest and standing up for yourself about or rising above the stress, the sleeplessness, any suffering in silence or purging, and coming together at work or co-creating within inequity, right, where two sides aren't equal, perhaps because one has more understanding in one capacity than the other, and vice versa. Coming together at work or in co-creating, inequity, debt, imbalance, or not sharing, or work in scamming others, trying to get one over on the other, exposed now and energized, a childlike exchange with the Emperor upright withholding from them, playing hardball and walking away from the Empress reversed in bad health, or just weak without courage, no balls, or afraid of everything. Sunshine, vacation, kids, pets, Leo energizing exchange for the Emperor saving to leave the Empress reversed, or Taurus and Leo both reversed, implementing a plan for success or good news, to lead the way, or is ahead of the pack, with time to go back. And sudden inequity, imbalance, or suddenly not sharing, perhaps a sudden event, epiphany, or sexual exchange, and the Page of Swords upright, stepping up to the plate, or spreading the word, advertising, standing up, taking the high road, exposing all, or on vacation to come clean up the act or space. A snake in the grass, perhaps spying is exposed, sneaking around, or cleaning up for the kids, or before vacation to be free and clean, to express inner child, and clean up the act and let go of shame and guilt. A child atlas, or weightlifter perhaps, saving the day, or carrying their parent perhaps, riding in on the white horse, or parent who's clearing the field so the child can have or ride a horse, or strengthen their resolve to feel good about themselves. And that could be too, like a child who has challenges, who like a horse would be therapeutic to them. That could be someone as well. Or a father and child clearing the yard together in order to bond. The King of Swords upright is looking out for streetcar and patches and 2 cents to rub together to patch up the ceiling or curtains, or to see the curtains opened, to know they are home, or no longer traveling, overworked or without work, letting go of what's not working or broken, the floating coin, or investing back into one's house or business at 1056, which is the Wheel of Fortune, that high vibration, and the 56 of the Two of Swords. Being in your knowing and keeping your energy clear, or being in your knowing and pretending not to know so you don't have to deal with things and get knocked off balance. And the movie that came up last night, which actually was a lovely movie, it was called The Kindness of Strangers, and it was very different. So I would recommend it for sure. The Kindness of Strangers. That was on Netflix. So at 1056, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the 56 of the Two of Swords, we have engagement, which has to do with leveling up in a relationship. And beneath that, keep an open mind, right? Someone may differ than your normal type and expectation. With the King of Swords watching for work, or to see when someone's home to finish up a job and settle up, moving, visiting, unstable home or work being done, unfair being present to romantic tie, with flame depressed or needing to heal, the Knight of Swords cracking the whip. Visiting one with Libra in chart, or romantic tie with the Knight of Swords with Aquarius in their chart. Moving or visiting or leaving a marriage, unfair at present due to depression of the Knight of Swords, perhaps their harsh point of view with children, or cracking the whip with what they watch. Dallas was coming up, as well as housewives, or waxing show, or bleeding tree, or man to collect the sap, whatever they can get out of it. Perhaps a woman getting him to steal from the rich to give to the poor, or Bonnie and Clyde, and starting out as a fun idea, but then what? It's not so good for after they have kids. With Libra reversed and Aquarius reversed here, we have leadership. There's the energy of being dead tired, jealous, the King of Wands reversed, or Scorpio reversed with the King of Wands reversed. Leadership is 81, which for me is the end of karma around the world. And beneath that, music, which is 32, which is the journey, and the Six of Wands, coming in with good news. And the Page of Pentacles reversed, in need of help or never learns. Perhaps suffering in silence or going crazy, perhaps coming out to the world. Complete, Virgo reversed and Pisces upright, or that axis, with Aquarius upright here as well. There could be someone out there with the Knight of Cups reversed, maybe almost dead due to the King of Wands reversed abuse. And that could be animal abuse as well. It could be like, cockfighting or getting dogs to fight with each other. That could be coming up here too. The inequity of stardom, healing dreams come true of bliss, and now that the worst is over, but not sharing the dreams of bliss, right? So it's like, how do you, but this is especially coming up with someone who may be partnered. Like, how do you expect them to know if you don't share your dreams of bliss? Or maybe they're dreaming of bliss with somebody else and they're not sharing because of that. The worst is over of debt, inequity, or imbalance, or perhaps not being generous or not being charitable, coming clean, cleaning up the act or space, getting over shame and guilt or brokenness, perhaps no car, or the Knight of Swords, leader with bad karma, or he may be abusive with his words or a little bit too harsh with people. And then we have the recent past of coming clean, cleaning up, or uncomfortable, losing patience. The fallen angel, defenseless to energies and without an excuse perhaps, or perhaps they don't need one. Maybe they're in the right. Overworked or no work at all, the Page of Cups innocent, without option. Married to the King of Wands reversed, who may be abusive, or dealing with a sister and suffering in silence with the Devil or Capricorn, or someone who's conservative, or the family that's conservative, the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, perhaps destined to abuse children, or vulnerable innocent ones, or take advantage of them. With the recent past of the Moon, or Luna, and deception of the King of Cups reversed, or perhaps Cancer, King of Cups reversed, destined to the Queen of Cups, or Libra between them, or the King of Cups reversed sees the Queen of Cups cleaning up their act or space and moving out or dealing with unstable home, with the Knight of Swords implementing a plan to find peace with a split, a divide, or grief, and starting over with the High Priestess and the King of Cups reversed, or Pisces, King of Cups reversed, surrendering to the King of Swords upright, Libra, or perhaps someone here is turning themselves in. The King of Swords may be acting like the knight in shining armor here, helping the Queen of Cups or High Priestess to get away from an abusive man, or the King of Cups reversed. And the foundation of the Knight of Wands reversed player, who may be abusive, with the King of Pentacles, or excuse me, the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or community, in a losing battle with one who's keeping to themselves. The Page of Wands is starting over, or two. The Knight of Wands and the Page of Wands both reversed here, which can be siblings acting up, or they could both be sick as well. Maybe finding gold in a stable family to start over with. And that could be finding pets a new home too. The central energy is the Sun, fully energized, happiness, kids, pets, Leo, ego, vacation, and marriage to patient angel, or committed to a higher love with synchronicities and the one, heaven in their eyes, options, releasing them from prison, being present in the moment, allowing self to grieve. The challenge being the Two of Cups reversed in disconnect or at a distance, and separation or heartbroken, and offering new passion or growth and good news and success to those willing to stand up for themselves when no one else will. The Nine of Pentacles and King of Pentacles are side by side, which can be two people who either are spending a lot of money or ungrounded, losing a lot of money, perhaps out in the cold together, in need of hope and balance, a helping hand to get them back on their feet again. And the Ace of Cups upright, new love offer from the King of Pentacles reversed, with all business relationship that's not working out, with the King of Cups reversed, withholding time, money, and effort, or perhaps he's saving for a new life. Patient, angel, higher love, and the Page of Pentacles reversed, in need of help post-war, and split with the Nine of Cups reversed, who may be dissatisfied or unhappy alone, as the Knight of Wands reversed is unable to save a partnership or close the distance gap. So now is the King of Cups reversed, perhaps offered love from the King of Pentacles reversed, and the King of Cups reversed with messages of the Knight of Pentacles and their injustice, stepping up to the plate post-war or post-virus, in need of peace, saving for bliss, and the Fool free to leap away from a negative past. So doing the avoid dance in passionate exchange, the Knight of Pentacles is upright with the wounded warrior in surrender, and the Page of Cups upright with a loving message. But they're insecure because they're young and you know, they're immature emotionally, without the tools, and disconnect or at a distance in the 5D connection, or on break or resting, meditating or prayer at work, co-creating but dissatisfied in separation, or disappointed or heartache about being alone or just lonely. The Ten of Cups upright family expecting the divine masculine to go fetch or be the errand boy, or just work without play. And the Magician reversed, very hangry, not eating right, and cut off from sexual connection. Called out, or in a wake-up call, an announcement to the Queen of Swords reversed, or Aquarius, Queen of Swords, or Gemini, may be dictating or bossy, or telling the divine masculine what to do, or family expecting Aquarius with Gemini or Virgo in their chart to call and disconnect from temptation, or Capricorn, ball and chain, unable to sleep, or up nights purging. And soon as the Two of Pentacles reversed, needing to surrender to all that is, perhaps dependent King of Pentacles reversed at 4 o'clock, which is a lot of source energy backing up that number 4, which is the Emperor, or stability and building and structure. But remember, the 4 is also the number 1 with the right angle as well. Okay. Or the King of Pentacles reversed and the Sovereign reversed can be just the King of Pentacles reversed being dependent or lost a lot of money. Or they could be two separate people. So perhaps they both spent a lot of money, or they're both ungrounded because they lost a lot of money. Or they're all about money, which now they're out in the cold because people don't like that. Receiving an offer of passion, growth, creativity from friends or a group, or coming together with the Hermit shedding light on the group, or friends or a social occasion at night with the Queen of Pentacles or Virgo Cancer Queen of Pentacles, arranged a gathering to inspire the King of Pentacles reversed to be more independent perhaps, or the King of Cups reversed who tripped up or dropped the ball, or breaking patterns of initiating from a place of disappointment or separation, heart stress, or worry about not being welcomed. The Hermit and the Queen of Pentacles out with friends and then each other at night. The Page of Wands reversed, frustrated or needing to end a major cycle with no peace, or dead tired, or near death, or in a near-death experience, or after a loss and recovering process in need of peace, with Virgo upright, Cancer upright, and Scorpio reversed here at 4:15, which is tax day, by the way. Or the King of Pentacles reversed is with the Nine of Pentacles reversed, child who's dependent on him, and the Queen of Pentacles upright is with the Page of Wands reversed, child who may be having difficulties, or perhaps they have energy that's all over the place, or maybe they're sick, or just uninspired. The twin flames seeing themselves as the Five of Cups upright, purging post-war or virus around the world, or coming full circle in a breakup or lack of affection, hanging out, or left hanging, trying to see new perspectives, to break patterns and not get pulled into family drama, or them asking for too much, or unbalanced sharing with family, and the Knight of Wands reverse player falling short, or tired of answering their calls to always rescue them at the last minute. With Pisces upright and Gemini reversed, Capricorn upright and Sag reversed. Release your ex, attraction, and true love comes up for the twins, as well as calling in your soulmate. Grieving post-virus world, or Pisces, divine feminine, and feeling left hanging by lover or Gemini reversed, or perhaps dropped the ball when they should have paid for everyone. Everyone was happy family, but did the Knight of Wands reversed leave feeling shortchanged? Perhaps somebody's worrying about that. And around the twins are how they're seen as the Queen of Swords reversed. She may be the Queen of Wands, fiery and receiving love offer from the High Priestess, Pisces, Virgo, or Aid, perhaps a psychic or religious person as well. Or the Queen of Swords reversed may be jealous of the High Priestess offering love to the Queen of Wands. And that could be, multiple friends together. And then the High Priestess ending pain or betrayal, or perhaps getting a massage, or a painful end with the Page of Pentacles reversed, who's in need of help, money, or opportunity, or just never learns their lesson, or missed an opportunity with the ladies. And the block here being the Eight of Swords reversed, the release of anxieties and worries about what others think. And the Queen of Pentacles upright, with the wounded warrior surrendering without options to be present in the moment or present with a gift. 431 is the Emperor and the 31 of the Five of Wands, which can be conflict, but also can be play and fun. But there's moderation here, and beneath moderation, or excuse me, not beneath it, but even more so than moderation here, was love and karmic completion. The Knight of Cups reversed, rejection or jealousy of the Emperor upright, or suddenly the Emperor's jealous that the trophy bride or wife is getting all the attention, or vice versa, suddenly burdened by the weight of the world, or Atlas with sudden events, epiphanies, or sex. Or at 5 o'clock, which is a lot of source energy backing up the 5 of change and expansion, suddenly realizing they're being manipulated in a breakup or in disconnect after a split or divide, and needing clarity and dissatisfied with self, or with the Knight of Wands reversed player in disconnect or at a distance, or the Knight of Cups reversed. Scorpion is jealous of the King of Wands reversed, Sag, and both here, the King of Wands reversed and the King of Cups reversed can be the Knight of Cups reversed and the Knight of Wands reversed, because they're all coming up at the same time. They could be two different kings and their negative actions or inactions, or they could be four separate people, perhaps two kings and their children, perhaps. But it's coming up as the Knight of Cups or King of Cups reversed Scorpion, jealous of the King of Wands or Knight of Wands reversed Sagittarius, suddenly coming together and not offering to pay or leaving no options, stuck or broke or blocked by destiny, or perhaps a car broke down, or Cancer reversed with Libra upright, or a breakup, a breakdown, or breakthrough that's destined here at the end. The inequity of the Knight of Wands reversed, grieving with the Queen of Swords reversed, or Sagittarius and Gemini both reversed, night and day, day and night, challenged by the Two of Cups reversed and disconnect or at a distance, and not surrendering to all that is, released the King of Cups reversed suddenly, or the King of Cups reversed suddenly came together with friends and saving or withholding without option. Perhaps they're broke or broke up, down, or through, that's destined, or the King of Cups reversed Scorpio reunion, but there's no new start from that reunion, or no payment until the new path is done and broken down for Libra or Cancer reversed and Libra upright. The Wounded Warrior reversed, surrendering, of the Page of Pentacles reversed, missed opportunity, or the one who never learns, to stand up for themselves, suffering in silence, or a sister, or stressed out about the workplace, inequity at night, where the worst is now over, or romantic bliss. And the Knight of Wands reversed on vacation, or exposing all to the King of Cups reversed, and challenged by a breakup or disconnect or distance of a partnership. Grieving a loss, regret, with the Queen of Swords reversed, released from anxiety, worry, or actual prison, perhaps suddenly coming together, in need of payment without option from Cancer reversed and Libra upright, or came together but withholding money without budging on that point, and a breakup may be destined there due to codependencies, addictions, or temptation. And it looks like the King of Cups reversed with the Queen of Cups upright are destined to not see eye to eye. Perhaps Libra King of Swords is between the King of Cups reversed and the Queen of Cups upright, which both can be Cancers or Scorpio, and the King of Cups reversed could be Scorpio, Pisces, Libra as well. Stable logic, but detached, emotionally unavailable, or over-emotional. And also the Empress reversed is over the Emperor upright, and the Knight of Cups reversed could be jealous Scorpio, or the King of Wands reversed may have Scorpio and Sag both in their chart, or a jealous streak of the Emperor upright, right? So the King of Wands reversed may be jealous of the Emperor in a breakup of a partnership. And the King of Cups reversed could be the baby of the family. So that could be like an emperor could have several sons, and the King of Cups reversed may be the baby. Or Scorpio in a breakup with the Queen of Cups upright, perhaps with 2 kids. The Knight of Cups reversed may be jealous and moody, and the Page of Cups innocent and loving. Or 4 siblings with lots of water, fire, and air, but not enough earth here. The Emperor's upright and the Empress reversed could be the King of Swords upright and the Queen of Swords reversed with lots of pets or Leo kids. Or the King of Swords could be legal or police, and the King of Cups reversed could be turning themselves in. While the Queen of Swords reversed is released suddenly in favor of a friend's help, perhaps, or the King of Swords may be seen as a better lawyer than her. The trip or move cancellation destined or return from travels, perhaps being seen as being able to turn things around at 539, which is the Hierophant, and the Knight of Cups, which was reversed. All right, so let's just pull a few oracle cards. We'll pull from the Shaman Dreams deck, see what comes up for you guys. 736, which is the Chariot, and Atlas, the weight of the world. And then we just had 122.33. So there's that 123 jump, and actually 123 came up this week before. So definitely taking that leap of faith is coming up. And 122.33 is the Magician, the 33 of the Christ vibration, the 6 of Wands, and then, did I say 22? Yeah, the 22 is the Fool with an open heart taking a leap of faith, and then 33 is the Christ vibration, which is also the 4th section of the DNA, right? Because Cryon always talks about the DNA being the 1, 2, 3, is the 6, the 4, 5, 6 being the 15, the 7, 8, 9 being the 24, and then the 10, 11, 12 being the 33. So it's actually, 4 6s. But like the first 2 sections of the DNA being human related, and then Pleiadian or Lemurian. I always forget what they say. And then the 10, 11, 12 is like the God connection. Or that that extremely high vibration. All right, let's see from the Shaman Dreams deck. What is our takeaway from this read? We have there's a few here. Netcaster is 42 of the 2 of Cups. 2 of Cups was reversed in this read. But this is the Netcaster, preparations coming to fruition. So it was reversed in the read today, but that may be because something's ready to be pulled in. So they had to release something. And then we have the Winter's Dream, which is a gestation period, and we're in the winter, but we're going to be in spring very soon. It's gone really quickly. The 63 is the 9 of Swords, which is that very painful time, right, of the winter, of suffering in silence, after perhaps a disconnect or a breakup. And in the hand here, which is so funny because my brother's hand looks so much like that when he He does certain things. And there's like a heart up here. The 31 is that 5 of Wands. In the hand, the universe is your partner. And then there's one more card, which is the lay of the land, ancestral wisdom, which very much came up in the read about going into the earth in exchange of appreciation of those within the earth, not just outside the earth galactically, but those not even on the earth, but within the earth that we have family connections to. The lay of the land, and again, the mountains and the land. There's a lot of circles on the ground here. Ancestral wisdom. And it's funny, they have somebody with their arms up here, and I drew that picture with the person's arms up in the air. And again, remember, that's that position when you're in fear, you're supposed to hold your arms up over your head, which again brings up that 144-degree angle between the arm and the body. And then the 36 on this side and the 36 on this side. So it's bringing up that as well. Whew, I'm getting really hot. When I get really hot like that, it means there's a lot of masculine energy coming in here. So the netcaster, preparations coming to fruition regarding a one-to-one situation. After a long winter of suffering and silence, that's the gestation period. In the hand of the universe is your partner, right? Connecting with your higher self is all you need, right? Because that's becoming sovereign with self is how you draw in the energies that are best for you. And then getting the lay of the land with ancestral wisdom, which can have to do with Akashic records as well. Or perhaps doing some grid work and traveling. And then the bottom of the deck here is the joyful muse for inspiration. And we definitely had cat energies in my friend has a cat, my brother has a cat, so there's a lot of cat talk. So there's a lot of cat amusement energy. My brother's cat talks a lot. Patches complains a lot. 33 is that Christ energy of the 7 of Wands, standing up for oneself without getting triggered. And we have the violin or the cello or the whatever it is. Music is coming up here, and painting, whatever inspires you. Or that could be humor as well, since the cat's being humorous there. So there's lots of artistic endeavors coming up there. Perhaps pets as well. In regards to coming into this here. So what is your muse? What are you connecting with? And here again we have the golden mean with the shell. So energy of the heart, my heart is in your hand. The universe is your partner, remember that. Like, don't get in your own way. Enjoy yourself and get a lay of the land. Really feel the land, feel your connection to the earth. Stand, like in this picture, stand on a rock somewhere and really feel it. Put your arms up. Feel the joy of being a child, of having that innocence again, and being totally connected to just raw nature, as if there were no, modern conveniences at all. Okay. All right, let me give you an animal spirit card, and then we'll do Journey of Love, and then we'll be set. I've got the turtle. The turtle's slow. They may be struggling a bunch, but they got to take their time and be who they are. And there's the vulture just waiting for them to fail, right? To clean up the mess. But that turtle might just surprise you and finish the race. There's the cheetah too. Look, everyone's come to see if they make it to the end of the race. They're waiting to collect the leftovers, and this one may be up for the kill as well. And then we have the tarantula who's at the Y in the road, right? They're at a crossroads in their life. So they may go that way or they may not. But notice how all of these have the lines in the background, and the turtle does not. Now we have the hyena here too, who's kind of slithering away, right? The ones who are still interested coming in, this one may or may not be, and then this one's kind of like, I had enough. That could be even you watching here, like, right? When you watch a channel, there may be a time where you're not sure if they're coming back or if they're still working for you. Someone might be at a crossroads about it, and someone may be feeling even betrayed by it, right? But remember, that's going into that victim mentality, right? Because all is well in every moment. Right? So remember, it's all in changing your perspective, just tweaking your perspective so that you feel good about life and yourself. The bottom of this deck is the Scorpion, which is, you know, the trigger. This is like getting a jump in your car, right? A sudden jump or sudden jolt of energy. And there's the songbird here. And the songbird may have triggered someone here. Yeah, they're very opposite energies, right? Because this is purifying an innocent bird type of energy, or songbird, very sweet energy. This is kind of that opposite energy of wanting to attack someone and give them a jolt, a trigger. It's like bringing the two polarities together, right? Not wanting to be either extreme. Not too sweet and not too, you know, too much of a sting, but somewhere in the middle where it's more easy to take, right? Yeah. But it's just being who you are. You know, you can't please everybody all the time. You can't worry about what everybody thinks. They either resonate with you or they don't. And maybe yesterday they resonated with you, maybe today they won't. Or maybe yesterday they didn't, and today they will all of a sudden. So you can't ever make blanket statements anymore, because your energy is ever changing every minute of the day, and especially day to day. It could be very different from day to day, especially as you learn to see new perspectives every time you check yourself spiritually, right? Am I feeling sorry for myself? And you're certainly allowed to feel your feelings. Don't deny your feelings, don't push them away. Allow all of your feelings to flush through you. But also just come back when you're ready, right? It's a very spiritual practice every day to be conscious of what your thoughts are. And are you falling into old patterns? So let's see what the journey of love has to say. So it's like, because the turtle came up, you know, this turtle's extra slow. You know, that's going to become polarized, right? Because if he's really slow, then that means someone who's really fast normally is going to get really triggered by that really slow person. And then we have the vulture in there ready to scoop up whatever happens with this confrontation. And then another who isn't sure, and another who doesn't want to deal with this situation. There's always going to be a different perspective of everybody. And we get with the lines too. You see, like the cheetah has the curvy lines that are natural, and yet the tarantula has straight lines, which aren't really natural, because, right, no lines are actually straight. And the hyena doesn't care about the lines. They're like, yeah, whatever. see what the journey of love has for us today. All right, we have devotion to the small. So this has to do with the vulnerable, the children, the plants, right? Taking care of things that can't take care of themselves. 32 is the journey. And keeping it simple as well. Whenever you see the black and white cards in this deck, it's really about making it simpler, you know, not having so much complication in your life. Devotion to the small and then the heart of God, right? Because isn't it that inner child that is the heart of God? The hermit, going within to the collective on the journey, right? To bring in good news and lead the way. There's two more that want to be seen. We have the 55 of the truth and acceptance that fairy tales do exist. And the earth angel with a blanket of rainbow colors with a message. That there are such things as beautiful connections and fairy tales, and there are such, and witnesses to those fairy tales, and there are such things as earth angels who bring messages in a rainbow of colors. As long as you allow your inner child to exist, there will always be such things when you connect to your higher self and to source, accepting all that is. The truth, the message, the wisdom, the solitude, the journey, the opening of the heart, the planting of the seeds, and the acceptance of what is. Even when you have to pull up your blanket over yourself alone. It's just always accepting what is, and yet dreaming. Being able to imagine something that doesn't actually exist right in front of you. Being able to be expansive within your own mind. And know that the limits are only according to your limits of imagination. And the bottom of the deck is the cloak, the 50 of emotional satisfaction of the 10 of Cups. And I love that because it's very periwinkle. That contemplation energy, right? Cloaking yourself with that beautiful color and energy. Perhaps feeling alone. There is some loneliness here, but there's romance here too. This is romance too, right? Taking care of those who can't take care of themselves, your children, the love on that journey. Being alone with the heart of God, that connection. The connection with another in romance and total acceptance of each other. And then perhaps connection with your own blankie. Enjoying that as well. So the first card out is devotion to the small. Let's see what that says, as well as the turtle. All right, turtle, where are you? There we are. Ancient soul, grounded, trusting, at home in the self. It is wonderful to be in the presence of a turtle personality. Like the beaver, the turtle has a strong relationship with the earth and water elements simultaneously. This helps to ground and connect them to deeper truths of life, no matter where their travels lead them. Turtle energy is behind all great writers and storytellers, as they collect life experiences under their shells for later use. The most potent turtle energy helps us close all the other books and begin to tell our own true tale. When in balance, they're peaceful, adventurous, and productive. But when they're out of balance, they slow down to a halt. To bring back into balance, they need an adventure. Okay, so there's your turtle. And I just had an adventure. So let's see here. 32. Devotion to the small. She bows, she honors growth. She sees that within the smallest flower, There is the teaching of the earth, the gospel of Gaia, the mystery of life demonstrated. She recognizes that she too is of nature, subject to the mysteries of growth in life, that in honoring nature and taking pleasure in life, she opens her heart to allow great creation to happen through her. This is the feminine wisdom alive in men and women with open hearts. There's an innate wisdom within you that understands this devotion to the Earth Mother as an important step in fulfilling your spiritual destiny on this planet. She's speaking to you now, letting you know that there's a small change happening, something that's growing within you that you may not recognize, that you may recognize but may not think is so important. Yet she tells you now that it's very significant. Soon you'll see that what you thought was a seed to yield a single flower is actually blossoming into a lush garden of manifestation. Gratitude and love for the small changes happening are leading you into fullness that you can only dream of, so enjoy. The message of this oracle for you is that your blossoming is occurring now, and the Earth Mother has gratitude for your presence within her being. For the work you are doing to help other human beings, she asks for you to surrender any concern you have to her, to let her creative power continue to gently guide you into your rightful place in this world, and that you may shine as you were born to do in service to the evolution of this planet. She's helping you now, so trust her. A flower is a poem that tells you the truth of a thought in the fragrance of a dream, as fleeting as a heartbeat and as lasting as a memory. And the next page is God Speaks with the 33. So I'm inviting you to drink plenty of water to make yourself feel good, to get enough sleep, joy, and nature outside. And it was 141:14 just now, which is that reflection of love, self-love, spiritual love, new love, and the 14 of that higher love of the Temperance card, and taking one step at a time, being patient and balanced, and rise and be love.